I actually developed a draft strategic plan for our School of Professional Studies. It's been widely shared across our school with faculty and staff, and I've also shared it with various campus constituents at PC, and they've graciously has provided their feedback, which I've used to kind of inform that plan. We formed a steering committee, and that's largely composed of faculty representatives and staff across our school. I'm looking to identify external members, both affiliated with PC as alums or even just industry partners, so that they can work closely with us to give feedback and to provide additional strategic direction for that draft plan. Obviously, in the short term, I'd like to refine it, so that's what the steering committee and the engagement advisory council will help us do for implementation. And for the long-term purposes, I've modeled it. The entire plan has been modeled after PC 200, but I've also embedded DEI initiatives into those goals as it is aligned to PC 200. Goal 1 being academic excellence, Goal 2 inclusive community, and 3 being sustainable institution. COVID has shed, and I've been thinking a lot about this as part of building it into our plan, is COVID has obviously shed light on the inequities of healthcare, but it also has taught us how technology is so essential to the work that we do as we continually operate in remote spaces. And so I think it's really important in the School of Professional Studies to think about how those technologies and the current and even emerging technologies, when we focus on what platforms are we using, what technological tool are we using, and are we keeping abreast with them so that we're training our own students in the classroom so that they're better prepared as they go out as professionals to work with the communities and the people that they serve. And so technology to me and the digital equity becomes a very critical component into how we operate with some of the things that we want to do in our plan. I appreciate you asking that question because I'm very partial to women leaders and women of color specifically. I do have 3 teenage girls, and they're all female, and one of them is about to head off to college. If I have to reflect on different experiences of when I've been marginalized across race, gender, and national origin, some of these have been like minor examples and completely unintentional, but others have been harmful and disturbing, and especially if I've been exploited for my hard work, my determination, or my skill set. So I've always kind of used those challenging obstacles as learning opportunities and the work that I need to do to leverage to continually think about who I am as a mother, as a spouse, as a leader, and as a professional. On one side, I think it is my responsibility to kind of be a role model for my daughters, but on the other end, it's also a reminder that women and women of color specifically, we do have different backgrounds, perspectives, dispositions, knowledge, and experiences, which are essential into the decision-making process, leadership, and then tackling the complex problems or issues that arise daily in the workplace or even in our personal lives. We've learned how to navigate that, I think, extremely well as being a woman. But at the same time, if you think about DEI initiatives as a woman of color, we have to connect that and make that very intentional across our spaces of personal and professional lives. And so in some ways, I think it's unfair that sometimes women and women of color have to prove to others, right, that we're successful by who we are, and that bothers me. And so I think for me especially, it's having the courage to challenge anybody in a privileged position or space, and so that they recognize their own bias or misconceptions of me or other women in general. I choose not to be silent because when I encounter inequity or injustice, I think it's a time for us to kind of call it out and stand up to that. So I hope that over time, as women and as women leaders, we continually make the influence that we need to be revolutionary, and so that change and action is corrected, and that we don't always have to prove ourselves until we're honored and respected for the contributions that we make at work.